What if I told you that you have access to try out new and upcoming features in Trello right now? If you've never heard of it, there's this little area of Trello called Trello Labs that I just recently discovered myself. I'm not sure why they don't talk about it more, but I'm going to because I think it's super cool. And I think it'd be awesome if more people were checking it out and giving them live feedback as they're preparing to release some of these new features. So there's a couple of really cool ones in there right now. One that I'm really, really excited about. And I'm going to show you guys that today. There is one that I'm personally having some issues with. I'm working with the Trello team to try to rectify that. I think it might be a my account issue and not a feature issue, but you'll have to check it out yourself and let me know, does it work for you and how cool is it? If this is exciting, if you're a Trello nerd like me and you want to try these new features, then make sure you stick around. I'm going to show you exactly how to get to it and what's available in there right now. But before we dive into this, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss a tutorial or upload. All right, guys, let's get into it. Okay, so there are two easy ways that I know of to get into Trello Labs. The first one starts where you see the newest Trello updates. Sometimes this is highlighted for you when there's something new, but a lot of times it isn't. Doesn't mean you still can't get there. So when you're on your Trello board, you're going to go up to information and you're going to see this view updates button. When you click view updates, you're going to see anything that's new. It's going to give you a little bit of a understanding of what the change is. But then at the very bottom here, you have this Visit Trello Labs link. So that's one way to get there. The other way, they've actually made a little bit more noticeable recently, and it's because it's got this little colorful icon, I guess you want to call it here. So you go into your account menu and you go to Labs. So let's just go ahead and go there first. And you're going to see anything that's currently available in this experimental or beta. I guess it's technically after a beta. It's more just pre-release, and it still probably has a few bugs going on. One of the things that I think is really nice is that they've included these little videos so that before you decide if you're going to test it out for yourself or not, you can see how it's intended to be used. They're usually pretty short videos, so they're pretty helpful. They do give you a description here, but I always find it better. I'm a very visual learner, so it is easier for me to be able to see how it's intended to be used. But you can just toggle them on and off at any point. So that's really nice because if you try it out and then you realize you either don't like it or you don't really need it, you can always turn it off and kind of get it out of your way for a while. But what they've got going on right now, there's a couple of things that I think are really cool. So they've got this quick merge, which does exactly what you think. It merges two cards together. Very cool. This is something that I've been wishing they had for a long time. Checklist generator. This is the one that I'm super excited about, so I'll show you that in a minute. Smart schedule. Now, this one I have not personally put into practice yet. I think it's a really cool idea. But because my calendar is split between my corporate time and my business calendar, they're not on the same calendar and they're not shareable within the same Trello account for me. And so it makes it hard for me to use this smart schedule because it doesn't necessarily truly see what my open windows are, because that's basically what it's doing, is it's looking at an activity, a task that you have on a card and finding a focus time window in your schedule. But my schedule that it sees is incomplete for me. So it's not super usable for me, but I could see how it would be really, really helpful. And then there is Rovo Chat. Now, if you don't know what Rovo is the AI within the Atlassian ecosystem. It's been used very heavily in Jira and Confluence, and I believe it also interacts with Loom to an extent. This is the first time that we're really seeing it come into Trello. So for me, this is like partially working and partially I'm not getting access. And I think it's more to do with my account and some setup stuff on my side. I don't think that it's the feature itself, but I don't know that for sure yet. So I am working with the Trello team to try to figure out what is the issue. Is this a true bug or is this something that is just my problem? So let me go back into Trello and just show you how these things work. So the first thing we saw was the quick merge, right? And this is where you're taking two cards that are essentially duplicates. So this would happen very easily if you're collaborating with other people on a board, where you may end up with, for example, a card about, I don't know, I'm never creative when I come up with ideas when I'm doing these for you guys, but let's just say card about ABC, okay? And so you've been working in this card and this item, and you've got some things going on. Maybe you've got a label or two. Let's go ahead and put a test label on there, whatever. You've done some work on it. But then somebody else doesn't see this card and accidentally, and let's do it over here, accidentally creates another card about ABC. And they do some of their own work on this item over here. They may also add another label to it, right? Something that is different than yours. Or maybe they included what you had as well, right? So you've got a couple of things that are now misaligned because now there are two sources of truth for the same activity. So this is what's so cool about it. So now, again, you have to have it toggled on or this will not work. But you take one of the cards, you hold, you keep your mouse button down, and you just want to hover it. Oh, there we go. Hover it. It's a little bit sticky, but you want to hover it over the card you want to merge it into, and then you let go. You can see the AI goes to work on your card, and it's going to combine. Now, keep in mind, this is AI, so it is not going to be perfect. It's going to miss some things and whatever, so you always want to make sure to double check and make sure nothing got dropped or missed in the process. But see, it renamed the card saying this is now consolidated. I've taken this card and brought them together. It's got both of the labels. It brought over the due date because one of the cards had a due date. And then it's brought in the information. It's kind of done a little summary, but it's brought in the description text that was on both cards, right? So you don't lose any of the information that was on either card. If you had attachments on one of the cards, it would merge it in as well. And then coming down here, it has created this. I'm not entirely sure why it's doing, and maybe this is something they're still working out, why it's doing checklist item in addition to putting this here. That feels duplicative to me. So I could see how maybe there would be use case for it in the future or for certain situations. But right here, this just feels like extra information that we don't need, but super cool. While we're in here, let's go ahead and do something else, which is the generative checklists. So there's a couple of cool ways that you can use this feature. For one thing, now this one, it might be a little bit tricky for it because we've given it no real information. This is a very generic card, right? But when we go into checklist, we can just call a checklist to do and have it generate a checklist. And what it's going to attempt to do is look at the information on the card and draft out an initial to-do list of items that need to be done for that kind of card. This is why I'm not sure what it's going to do with this because there's really no information on this card that's real. It's all very generic and dummy data. But let's see what it does. So it'll kind of take a second and do its thing. And let's see. So it's got card about ABC doing, okay. So in this case, it's just taking the only information that it saw and actually spelling it out again. So now we've got kind of some extra duplication. But let's say, for example, we have one that has a little bit more detail. So this one already says testing mirror automation across boards. Maybe it would be helpful for me to have a list of the steps for testing mirror automation. So I'm going to be a little more specific in what I call the checklist. I'm going to say steps for testing, okay? And then I'm going to ask it to generate the checklist. Now this time, the only information it has is the title of the card and what I want this list to be. But it has now created for me a step-by-step checklist of how to test the mirror automation across boards. You can use this in a lot of different ways, but just think, this is the one I'm super excited about. I've actually used it once or twice when it comes to my content creation. So once I've created a video, for example, and I've got my description already written into the description box, and I've got some other information, but I want some ideas for titles. I will use that card, so it's got all the information about what the content is about, what the video is about, and I will say video title ideas, and it will look at all that and come up with some video title ideas. Now, granted, it's not necessarily geared towards optimization for specific platforms. Like using a tool like vidIQ might be more effective because it knows YouTube better than maybe this AI does, but it still gets the ball rolling for me so that I don't have to, it just kind of inspires me on some things that maybe I wouldn't have thought to incorporate that into the title, that sort of thing. But this use case that we just looked at, where we're actually having it give us the steps for testing, that's super helpful and really actionable, and I kind of love it. Okay, and then the smart schedule. Okay, so the way that one works, we've got our planner where we can see our schedule for the day, and we can go into any of our cards here. You're either going to right click on the card or you're going to click the little edit card, either way. And you're going to see this smart schedule. So what it's going to do is find a time. It's got an old due date on it. So actually, let me go ahead and update that and make it a little bit easier for it to know, because it is actually going to look at when is this due and make sure to find a time before it's due. So I think it might have been on an item. Yeah. So we need to give it kind of a future time so that I honestly don't know what it would do if I tried to have it scheduled for something that's due in the past. But let's go ahead in here and hit smart schedule. And it's going to go ahead and find a potential focus time. What I do really like about this feature is that it doesn't automatically put it in your schedule, in your calendar. It gives you a suggestion and then you accept or decline. The reason this matters so much is because if you have your planner connected with your Outlook calendar or your Google calendar, once I accept this, it's going to actually put it on my calendar, right? So I wouldn't want it to do it automatically and then me have to go and find it on my calendar on Google or Outlook and then go remove it from there as well. That would just be extra work that I don't need to do. But you can see it didn't look just for today. It looked at tomorrow. It said, hey, tomorrow morning, you actually have time. Why don't you go ahead and do your graphic design then? So I'm going to say, sure, that sounds great. And it's now put a focus time on my calendar called graphic design. So it's a step in the next direction for planner and incorporating that into our cards. I do still hope that they're planning on bringing some sort of due date related capability in there. Obviously right now it seems to be looking at the due date, but it's not necessarily choosing or automatically putting it over there based on the due date. But this is definitely going in the right direction. And then the last one was that Rovo Chat. So you'll see that Rovo Chat is here at the bottom. This is what's not fully working for me. It's not giving me complete access. Hang on, let me move planner. That's not giving me complete access into Rovo Chat, and I think I know why, and so I'm working with their team to try to figure out why. So this is not working for me. This is what I would love for if you are able to use it. Let me know how it works for you. It's basically a way to, it's kind of like having a chat GPT inside of your Trello, and it should be able to search across your Trello and find things and interact with your cards and your tasks and all of that kind of stuff. But it is also a way, and the main thing for Rovo is to be able to build agents. And I'm not even able to browse the existing agents right now. This is why it's so maddening to me that this isn't working for me yet. But once they get my access fixed, I will definitely play with it and come in and do a more in-depth video on this. But you can create agents that will actually go and do work for you behind the scenes. So this is like taking that whole next step towards a tool like Trello being like your virtual assistant. So right now it's our second brain, but now it can go even a step further and be your virtual assistant. So this part is not quite there yet, or at least not for me. I can't show us that just right now, but there is a little bit, and the same thing, you could do this on the card specific level as well. But there is some functionality within just the typing interfaces to begin with. So there is there's a writing assistant aspect of Rovo So I could start to type something and say, well, let's go ahead actually with a similar example. So let's just say, let's actually go back to our testing mirror automation and say, help me design test scenario, right? For example, and then I can click on writing assistant and I can have it do a few things here. I can have it summarize if it was much longer. I can have it improve it, make it better, find action items. This is probably what we'll try here. Fix spelling and grammar, brainstorm. That's another thing we could try here. Make it shorter or change the tone. So let's go ahead and try find action items and see what it comes up with. Okay, so this basically just turned it into an action item. That's not what we're looking for. So let's go ahead and go back. Yes, discard the response, and let's see what happens when I hit brainstorm. Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and type that again. Help me design test scenario for mirror automation across boards. And so it's going to probably do similar to what it did here. Not exactly the same. See, the checklist is actually a little bit more direct and specific, which I like. Brainstorm here is a little bit more high level, but that makes sense because we're brainstorming, right? So it's definitely still in process, just like all AI is in process. You can't automatically take anything that you get out of any AI, but I think it's cool to be able to have it in context and not have to keep going back and forth between your preferred AI platform and Trello, because they all have their different purposes, but a lot of times it'd be really nice if it could just interact with information that already exists within our Trello environment. So when I get my access fixed and I'm able to go in and create or at least check out some of the Rovo agents, I will definitely do that and come back and show that to you. So as you can see, not all of the features are going to be useful to you right now, just like not all of them are useful to me. But it's still really cool to see the direction that they're taking Trello, what they're doing, especially how they're bringing AI into the platform. I love that it's not yet completely overtaking, but it feels like it's really there to act as an assistant, which is how I personally use AI the most in my business. I let it be something that just makes my life just a little bit better, but not taking over and doing everything for me. So I'd love to hear, though, which of these features are you most excited to go toggle on for yourself? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I hope you liked it, and more importantly, I hope you found it helpful. If you did, make sure you like this video, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, all the things to help grow this channel and make this community something that I can give even more of my time and attention to. And if you really liked this video, share it with somebody else that you think will find it helpful as well. The online tools for your business do not need to be complicated and overwhelming. It's time to let it be easy.